right, the next story is actually concerning Donald Trump and some internal comments that were made at the White House. There was some little back and forth between Trump and Mike Pence. Now, this article is actually from the Huffington Post, and it includes some comments about my community in particular. So, as it reads, in a blistering new profile of the Vice President Pence's rise to prominence along the Christian right, and the New Yorker Jane Myers recounts of several anecdotes from campaign and administration staffers about how President Trump rips his vice president for his apathy towards the LGBT community. The profile demonstrates that Trump's callous indifference towards Pence's extreme social agenda. One particular anecdote stands out that undermines Trump's longstanding claim to support the LGBTQ community or people and underlines Pence's opposition to the LGBTQ equality. Two sources also reclaim what we call that Trump needling Pence about his views on abortion and homosexuality. During a meeting with a legal scholar, Trump belittled Pence's determination to overturn Roe v. Wade. The legal scholars has said that if the Supreme Court did so, many states would legalize abortion on their own. Trump shot back and said, "You see," Trump asked Pence, "you've wasted all this time and energy on it. It's not going to end abortion anyway." When the conversation turned to gay rights, Trump motioned towards Pence and joked, "Don't ask that guy. He wants to hang them all." Pence's history of opposing the LGBTQ equality is well documented, from his support of the ex-gay conversion therapy to haplessly defending the discriminatory religious freedom legislation he signed into law in 2015. During the campaign, Pence helped secure the support of religious conservatives, promising, for example, that the administration would rescind the Obama administration guidance protecting transgender students in the schools, which it did shortly after Trump took office. So I don't see how people would constantly argue, and I've even seen figures who have risen up recently. There's one in particular, a sassy gay Republican, who still argue that under the Trump administration, you have the most pro-LGBTQ administration ever to date. I see no evidence of that, because that's like me saying that I'm running a campaign in 2020. I'm pro-choice, and my VP is literally the opposite of my view. He's pro-life. It doesn't work. Because what if something happens to me? What if I'm running a campaign with a person as pretty much my VP in an event that something happens to me, and his or her views are in stark contrast to my own? Why would I put that person as my second hand when that person can just undo everything that I worked up to in my place as the President of the United States? I don't understand why people can't really see through that, and I don't know why people would even support Trump in this case and even try to argue this. It's like some weird compartmentalization that's going on. There are even some people who say, well, Pence wouldn't necessarily want to go about hanging the gays or whatever. You know what? Like, I don't know. Pence on the record has done some pretty horrible things to the community. I don't trust him. I'll say that much. I don't trust Pence. I don't want to have nothing to do with Pence. I don't want Pence to become president. But I also don't want Trump to be president. So it's a weird situation of, if you impeach Trump, then you get Pence, who's potentially worse. And while this is probably good information to know, at least when it comes to Trump, that he's a little apolitical when it comes to some of these issues, it's most unfortunate that, in part because he's apolitical on these issues, that he tends to swing wherever the wind kind of goes and just does the bidding of whoever gives him the most money or whoever lobbies the hardest, what have you. It doesn't matter. So him not having a position on the issue, I think, can to some extent be good, but also can be bad, because he's not principled in anything. Like I would say this: like, if he didn't have a position on the issue, but at least he had some core principles that he felt that he stood by, then Okay, fine. Like maybe if for example, like he wants rights for everybody. Now he doesn't necessarily care for a gay marriage or whatever, but he said, you know what, I want everybody to be treated the same. Okay, fine. I can get down with that. But I really don't know where Trump is. Like if gay marriage wasn't a thing under the Obama administration, and it somehow happened under the Trump administration that this became a very big issue, I don't. I think you would probably see his true colors if he ran under as a Republican. If this happened a little while later and he ran as a Republican, he would likely swing more towards not supporting gay marriage. And I get the impression that he says whatever is politically expedient, at least in the moment.